follow Average Joe. Al's restoring a hand plane, but I'm Al.
So I got this old hand plane with the idea that if I learn how to restore it, that will help me learn how to use it as well. So I stripped down the body, took apart the different pieces, and then started to clean them up and see what needed doing. So the frog wasn't in too bad a state, but it just needed cleaning up a little bit. There was some patches of rust and it was a little bit rough. The iron, on the other hand, was in a right state. So I started on a low grit, about 300, and just sorted out the bevel and the back, and then worked up to 1000 grit. So I've sharpened kitchen knives before, but I've never used a strop, and I found this made a massive difference to the edge. And the classic shave test to see if it's sharp. And it was pretty sharp. With the bulk of the metal work out the way now, it's just about cleaning things up. Although the sole looks a little bit dirty, it was actually really flat, so I didn't want to do any work on that. I just took some time to scrape off the finish from the wooden pieces. It was a bit tricky on the inside of this curve, so I just got a file to do the rest of the work. After a light sanding, I just applied one coat of Danish oil, because I wanted to keep the wood kind of natural. Then it's just a case of putting it all back together again. So I've never really used a hand plane before, and this exercise just taught me a lot about the moving pieces, the mechanisms, which bits did what. It's really helpful. And once everything was back together, I just wanted to test it out just to make sure I knew how to set the blade and things like that.
Now the reason I've restored this old hand plane is in order to change this old oak beam into this. But first I need to learn how to carve. It's a very exciting time. No, still have no idea what I'm doing.
So this oak beam was from my parents' house, and it's been sat outside for about 10 years. So I had absolutely no idea what it was going to be like when I got inside it. So I cut off a pretty decent thick chunk and then just started planing it down to thickness. I absolutely love using this hand plane. The finish you get is absolutely unbelievable. I can see why people get into woodworking now. After checking for square, I just thought that it was actually way too thick for what I needed, so I decided to resaw it down, which is a real pain in the ass with the handsaw. Turns out oak's really hard. I drew out this template in Illustrator, then printed it out to size, and then just laid it on top of the wood and used a marking knife to score the letters in. I really use this as a learning process for carving techniques, just things like how to go against the grain, how to go around corners, when to push and when to use a hammer. You can see the sign here is a little bit long. Which saw to use? I found that if after every sort of 5-10 minutes of carving, if I just went back to the strop, it really helped keep an edge on the chisel and really helped with carving. I wasn't too bothered about the texture inside the letters because I knew I was going to paint, but I did want nice as crisp edges as I could. Just some detailing on the edge and then the carving was all done. So because I'm filling in the letters, I needed to seal the grain with some sanding sealer. This actually really helped because it gave some real definition to the letters, so I could really see what they were going to look like. The scene with the oracle is one of my favourite parts in the Matrix, and even the sign above the door still uses the kind of colour palette from the movie, which is this really kind of dark green and black. So I just wanted to replicate that on the sign. I think you can use acrylic paint for a similar effect, but I went for enamel on this job just to give it that real kind of solid feel. Just sanded through the grits down to about 600, and it really gave a nice finish to this oak. Just made sure I got rid of as much of the sawdust as I could before applying a couple of coats of Danish oil. I didn't want to go any more than that because I didn't really want like a shine on it, but I just wanted to bring out that darker colour of the oak.
So, there you go guys. It's not the most beautiful carving in the world, but I hope you enjoyed watching me learn some new techniques along the way, be that from the tool restoration to things like sharpening and even hand carving itself. Even the digital effects at the start of this video was something I've never done before, so it was really nice learning those processes. I don't know all of you very well yet anyway, but the more I do this, the more I start to know myself, and that was kind of the whole purpose of this video. And if there's one thing I did learn while making this video, it's this. Ignorance is bliss.